on us.
It's on us.
It's on us!
Yeah, hard work and dedication, but that's not enough. We look at this cookie cutter, copy and paste, blah. Where is something new, something different? There. Come on, you freaks. Unleash your creativity. Free your imagination, your genius. And superstition? Make your own luck and make this guy want to steal your look. Come on, shock the world, be the next, do something different. Now make it up on the fly. If you call yourself an athlete, create something. Why are you even here? Sport needs you.
Taste the feeling.
This gal wrote, I am obsessed with Zaxby's yummy fried pickles. Is that wrong? Well, Lisa Campbell changed her profile picture. Ma has a saying, a fried pickle a day keeps the cravings away. She is a wise woman.
Those pickles ain't gonna pick themselves.
Mean as a hornet, though.
It's fried pickle season. Lightly breaded, fried to perfection, served with ranch dressing. Enjoy them before the crop's gone. Zaxby's, indescribably good.
Changed from Domino's Pizza to Domino's because we're more than pizza. Try our specialty chicken, pastas, sandwiches, or stuffed cheesy bread. Choose any two, including medium two-topping pizzas for just $5.99 each.
Hello, welcome everyone to the Weekly Sting Live. Their third time this year doing this, and we are back out here at Schellenberger Field with men's soccer behind us, practicing and getting ready for their playoff game this coming Saturday against John Carroll. Great atmosphere, a little chilly out here, but we're weathering it just for you. And we had a great list of guests, as you saw there in the open. We're going to begin with men's basketball's head coach, Hilliary Scott. Coach Scott, thanks for coming on the show, man.
Good to see you.
Good to see you
big
as
guy.
well. Good to have you in our midst now as we get closer to the basketball season. This coming Tuesday, first game of the year, 7:30 start inside Turner Gymnasium against Johns Hopkins. What is the mood like right now? Are you guys itching, ready to go, or is it still, we got a couple days to worry about that?
Well, I mean, I think everybody's excited this time of the year. You know, coaches all say, hey, we're undefeated right now. Mm-hmm. We haven't played a game, but everybody feels good about where they are. I think we've been progressing well last 3 weeks. We've had 2 scrimmages that we felt like have gone well, but you know, I don't think as a coach you always feel like you need more time. Mm-hmm. I know as a player they're ready to start playing games. Coaches are not necessarily in that case, but things are going well so far.
When you look at the scrimmages that you've played so far, are there any things that stick out to you as far as positives right now that you see your team making strides in?
Well, I think for the most part we're playing hard. We're competing. I think probably the biggest trait that I've noticed out of this team this year is that we've been really unselfish on the offensive end, sharing the ball. And I think that's got to be a staple for us this year. You know, we lose the likes of Alex Graves and Austin Arnold and, you know, Daniel Rowe, that group of seniors that we had last year. I don't know if we have that go-to guy that, you know, Zach Burnett's a first-team all-conference player for us. It's going to be certainly tough, but we don't have someone that we can just throw inside and get a basket. So we're going to have to rely on each other to get shots this year, and we've hit the ground running so far.
Can you see that as a good thing, not to have one person or two people that other teams can hone in on?
Yeah, I mean, you're talking to Alex Graves, the first-team All-American for us last year, but I think he averaged 15 to 16 points. It's not, you know, like a guy who averaged 30 a game for us. So that's been a normal for us in terms of having a bunch of guys that can score some points and get someone different showing up every night. I think it's going to be not any different this year. I think that makes you tougher to play against when you can't just keep on one person. But going into this year, I certainly believe that Zach Burnett will be a guy that a lot of teams will focus on for sure.
I think one thing that's interesting to think about from your program's perspective is that since you've been here, you haven't had to deal with this good problem of coming in as defending champions. Mm-hmm. Do you do anything different? Do you try and make that a point of emphasis as when it comes to the mentality of getting this season started and looking ahead at how things are going to begin here in a few days?
Well, we have a unique blend of guys. So we have essentially a returning group of guys, our guards, Zach, Linden, Jay, Bobby, Devontae. So we've got a core group of guards returning. Okay, so they have a taste of what happened last year. They're motivated in that sense. You won a game in the NCAA tournament. They want to get back. Then you got a group of young guys who saw us get rings on Midnight Madness, weren't able to be a part of that. And so now they're motivated because they want a piece of that as well. So it's been a good blend of guys who motivated from last year's success and a bunch of new guys who want some of that success. We've talked a little bit about last year, but more so in the sense of trying to build that standard of what it takes for us to try to get back and do it again.
When you have success, people want to talk to you. People want to know how you did it, what you did to bring success, especially to a program that was not successful for a while. You had a couple chances to mingle and to also tell people what you guys are doing over the summer when you went to more specifically one particular conference where you got to go over your offense and show that to other coaches. Who was there, and what does that tell you about where the program has gone since you got here, where people probably didn't want to hear you talk about your offense?
Well, I'll tell you, if you talk to Coach Calipari and Roy Williams and Mike Krzyzewski, they'll tell you a lot has to do with having good players and not so much what you're running. But I think it's just a credit, you know, to the success of what we've had the last few years, and people want to know, you know, what you did, you know, to get to that point. It was a tremendous honor to go to that conference back in first part of September is when I did it. It's typically all high school coaches really around the country who come in and just want to hear some of your secrets. But in that particular conference, there were some Division I head coaches, Division I assistant coaches. So it was a great group of guys, and you know, with the help of my assistant coaches, we were able to put together some good presentations on some of the stuff we've done, and you know, it's always neat to have some good clips to show them as well of what you have been able to do. But you know, it's just an honor to do it, and it comes along with the job. But you know, I think for us to grow the game, you know, I always enjoy going to practices and learning things from different coaches, and that's just another example of that.
You didn't give away too much, did you? I mean, when it comes to
you know,
your secrets.
I tell you what, with the internet and films, I mean, it's really no secrets out there, and you know, a lot of those high school coaches want to just see different things that go on. Some of those guys have been running something similar to what we run. And there's different ways that we teach it, and we've got some great feedback from us. It was awesome.
Probably helps too, from their perspective, to hear from you instead of just watching it, hear why you run it a certain way, and probably has helped you in your coaching career too to hear those things from other coaches?
Oh, I mean, that's how we mold our philosophies, is what you, spent 20 years doing this job, and a lot of it being an assistant coach. You get around to see a lot of games, a lot of practices, and, you build your philosophies about, what you've seen and what you like and what you don't like. And our practices in my program today is just bits and pieces from stuff I've stolen from all kinds of people.
But you make it your own.
Yep.
You end up making it your own there.
Exactly.
Really cool thing, too, real quick, is you got to go to Jay Billis's camp in the summertime as well. What was that experience?
I did, yeah. Really good friend of mine. Again, a contact that I've had over the years, my years as assistant coach on the Division I level, runs a camp for Jay Billis, and asked would I be involved with it. It's in Charlotte, and Jay is a really, really cool guy. Does a good job with his camp, and he calls it his old school skills camp. So it's one of those old school camps where you're doing stations all day and very little games, and do a lot of teaching, and it's all high school kids. Yep. And so it's 3 days of really getting after it. So I don't know if I was quite used to working that hard for camps, but I'm used to having little kids around. But
right.
But it was a really, really neat experience. Got to meet some good people, and just a great experience.
And you got to go to Charlotte too, which is always
absolutely
a good thing.
Yep, absolutely. Great town to hang out in. Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
Well, Coach, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Appreciate you having me, man. Now I get back to my indoor sports.
That's
here.
right. Get inside. We don't have to wear the jackets anymore. Remember, they'll be on the floor next Tuesday at 7:30 against Johns Hopkins, and of course, it'll be here on LHSN as well. We'll be right back with Coach Abby Pyzik Smith.
It's on us, every Hornet, to stand up for one cause, to stand up against sexual assault.
To have the knowledge necessary to identify when sexual assault may occur.
To show integrity when confronted with a domestic violence conflict.
Where consent has not or cannot be given.
To create a community where sexual assault is unacceptable.
To provide service to survivors who need our support.
To embrace diversity and to provide a safe atmosphere for all Hornets.
Regardless of race, sexual orientation, gender, or ability.
To engage others on the importance of sexual assault awareness.
To value the tradition of standing up for others when they reach out.
To be consistent with our message, never wavering what is unacceptable.
It's on us to stand up to sexual assault at Lynchburg College. We are one nation, and it's on us.
It's on us. It's on us.
It's on us.
It's on us.
It's on us.
Zaxby's food has always brought people together. Catering to the big moments, the little wins, the long talks, and the quick getaways. Because food this inviting is bound to add a lot of flavor to your life.
Introducing the Zax Pack. Served with chicken fingers, sides, Texas toast, and iced tea. Pick one up for dinner or your next event. Friends, family, flavor. Zaxby's. Indescribably good.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Weekly Sting Live here on Schellenberger Field at Lynchburg College. I'm Joe Hutzler, your host here on the Weekly Sting. And before we get to our next guest, we're going to ask you a Hornet trivia question, and we have something in mind for you to keep you in an incentive here. What is the nickname of each team that are grouped with men's and women's soccer this weekend? If you can answer that in the next 5 minutes by going to our Twitter at LC Hornets using the hashtag TWSLive, let us know who that is. The first one to answer will get free Zaxby's for a year. Now we're going to go inside to an interview we had earlier today with Abby Pyzik Smith and talk about her team heading into their home opener on Tuesday. We're inside now with Coach Pyzik Smith of women's basketball here at Turner Gymnasium. Happy to have you back, and Coach, happy to have you on the show.
Thanks for
the first time. Me. Yeah, it's great. We're getting ourselves all ready for next Tuesday's big night. Both teams playing at home next Tuesday, and for you, playing William Peace for the second straight year. more importantly, just getting to play in a competitive game against someone else. I would like to know your scrimmages so far. How have they gone, and how good has that been for your ladies to see other competition?
Absolutely. This first month, is such a long time to kind of practice against each other. So it's always good to be refreshing to see new faces and to see where we are and to learn about ourselves each time. And I think we've done that. We've been very successful in the court. We've seen great things. We've seen things we need to work on. And we've really embraced, still winning and doing what we want to do, but also realizing what we need to do to get better. And I think that takes a lot of character in our players. And so I'm really excited for them to continue to be hungry and grow.
This is a really interesting spot for the program to be in, because it's a spot that they've never been in, and coming off of a conference championship last year. When we talked last year before the season started, it was all about a chip on our shoulder. We're going to go right back to where we were. We're going to finish the job this time, and you did that, which is amazing in itself. Now the task is, how do we harness that and move forward and try to do it again? Do you try and change anything up mentality-wise this year? Is it more intense because every team's gunning for you now?
This year's been an exciting year. Like you said, it's a first. So we were walking into this, we've built every year, and my expectation was that we'd get better again. And they didn't let me down on that. This is the most fit team I've had. They're very eager to learn and grow and continue that legacy. But you make a good, important point, what's that next focus and goal? And, for our freshmen that come in, they're very talented. We're very talented, probably the most talented team we've ever had. And with that comes growth as well, and experience and learning where we came from. And so our focus this year has been a lot on our culture and what that is and what it takes night in and night out to do what the past 6 years has built, to continue to grow and to continue to do that back to back to back. And while we won the championship, we were very excited about that. We went to the NCAA tournament, competed at the national level, and we were heartbroken after that first game. And so I think we have a chip on our shoulder to continue to improve and advance in the NCAA and make a statement and say we do belong there, and to be eager to go and be able to have that opportunity again. So I think we're very hungry to get better. While we're very successful right now, you can tell that we want more. And that's exciting to see in our players' face. They're in here constantly, they're working consistently. It's just a matter of coming together and finding our identity as a group. And so I'm eager to see when that clicks.
Yeah, so am I. Walking through after lunch or something, and you see the girls in here working off hours, if you will, as not during practice time to get better. So that's a good sign that they want to be working on skills before practice happens. You mentioned the word culture, and the theme this year is ethos for you all. This is your 7th season with the program. What is, when you look back on it, how has the culture part of it kind of taken shape? Because every coach wants to be somewhere long enough to establish one, and obviously yours is a winning culture now. So did it come as quickly as you hoped, or are you still fine-tuning that culture part of your program?
Well, I always want it faster. It would take me in that first year if it would have come. Right. But luckily there was patience, and we realized that great things aren't built overnight, and we want to do things the right way here and really grow strong young women. And so I think we've done it the right way in building that and creating our culture. And I'm glad you kind of asked that question. We hit kind of a 5th year, and we were stuck at 3rd. And that 2nd year we finished 3rd, I was pretty upset, and it was pretty nerve-wracking. We had passed the message along of what we needed to do, and this year we've really talked about putting the team first and kind of combining. And that year we sat in our office saying, how do we get that message across to our players? And what we did is, we're surrounded by a department that's very successful, and we said, who do we want to be around to kind of push us to that next point? And our players really bonded with the women's soccer team, and they're kind of pushed during that time as they made their national championship run and showed us what it was like at that national level. And that spring really changed us. I think we saw what that next step was, and then we came in and we were picked preseason 1 and fell short a little bit, and then came back, improved it, and continued to build. And so I think it has grown and grown and grown, but it's taken a lot of people in a village to kind of build that process. And so we've really put ourselves in a position to grow it the right way, to see those things. And now it's our job to remind our new players that come in, while they're coming into a winning established program, how to continue that tradition.
I think that's a great point to make about the programs here at Lynchburg College. I mean, you talk about going to clinics and conferences and stuff and talking to other schools, we have teams right here at Lynchburg that you can talk to.
Absolutely.
So, and you see women's basketball and women's soccer doing boot camp together throughout the year. So that's obviously something that's stuck, and both teams are doing really well. So that's great. Away from basketball, you have had a busy time in the off season. Some coaches are gearing up to maybe change some things or look at what they can do for the upcoming year. But you spent it being a mother for the first time. Congratulations.
Thank you.
On
Thank
that.
you.
How has it been having that bundle of joy in your life and trying to balance that and basketball now?
You know, well, it's been the best thing that's ever happened to us, for sure. I mean, she's amazing, and you know, everybody tells you, but you just don't realize it as you go, and it makes you a better person. And you think you're doing a lot, and then you realize, holy cow, you have a whole nother level as well too. So, you know, but what has been really special is kind of seeing her grow. But she immediately has 15 sisters and a really great village to raise a daughter in, which is really exciting. And we're just excited, you know, to have her and to make us, you know, better people all the way around. And so it's been a really fun process. And balancing it, it's funny you say that. You really don't stop, you know, it's who you are. And I think that's one thing my husband and I pride ourselves on is we've both found our passions in our jobs. And so we hope our daughter finds that too. But my players are still my daughters as well. And so while juggling and feeding and getting up at night, just find different times to get work done. And you know, feel even more prepared this year because it really focuses you in and makes you a better coach.
All right, well, look out, folks. They're going to be even more focused than a year ago. So
the girls are probably like, oh, great.
Yeah. Before we go, I do want to ask, you mentioned in the very beginning, the freshman class and some new faces. And for us, as we watch, we'll see some faces that were on the bench last year, but getting a starting role or getting more of a bigger role this year. What's something that we should expect from this team? Because a lot of us haven't seen scrimmages. What should we expect once they hit the floor on Tuesday?
Absolutely. You know, I think this is the most fit team I've ever had, for sure. I mean, they came in and knocked out their testing and really made a point in that first statement and first impression to me on October 15th. And so, you know, I'm excited. We're faster, which means we're pushing, and we also play Lynchburg basketball that's possession-oriented at times, so we're finding that balance of, you know, our team aspect and also running the ball, so that's been exciting. You're going to see some people in different roles, you know. We lost our point guard, and so we've moved a junior over there, Olivia DiFrancesco. She's done an awesome job of taking that on in the first month, and that's not an easy position to do by any means, and our system is tough, and so to have someone embrace that's been really exciting. And then we have two seniors that anchor us in our guard position that have been really strong for us and have showed a lot of grit and experience in those situations. And then two post players, Caroline Nama is coming off most outstanding player in the tournament, and very confident in that. And you know, we'll transition this year to being that person in the spotlight. And so she's really embraced that and is continuing to grow every day. And then we have, you know, three post players that have really stepped up and have been great chemistry-wise, and a junior that actually didn't play a lot of minutes last year that has been really pushing for that starting spot. And so really exciting to see some players step up. And I think that's one of the neat things about our program is that we really try to really focus on developing our players to be the best they can be in 4 years. And some players are a little quicker than others, but it's really exciting when that light bulb goes off. And so some light bulbs have gone off this year, and that's really fun to see grow. And then we've brought in a really talented freshman class, and while they're extremely hard on themselves, they're probably further ahead than any class we've had so far. Still have a lot of work to do, but they're very invested in it as well. And so I think by the time we get into February, we should be pretty deep, which will be very exciting as we have to win 3 games to cut down that net again. And so, you know, our vision is very strong on what that needs to be.
Well, if you don't know what to expect by now, after hearing all that, I don't know what else we can do, because that
I can talk more.
Extremely, I mean. She can. That is extremely in-depth and perfect way to end this and get us ready. I'm excited to get back.
We're excited for the 15th too.
And get back rolling. 5 o'clock on Tuesday against William Peace for women's basketball. Coach,
be there.
Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. We'll be right back after this short break with our last segment of the show. Stick around.
Awesome.
It's on us, every Hornet, to stand up for one cause, to stand up against sexual assault.
To have the knowledge necessary to identify when sexual assault may occur.
To show integrity when confronted with a domestic violence conflict.
Where consent has not or cannot be given.
To create a community where sexual assault is unacceptable.
To provide service to survivors who need our support.
To embrace diversity and to provide a safe atmosphere for all Hornets.
Regardless of race, sexual orientation, gender, or ability.
To engage others on the importance of sexual assault awareness.
To value the tradition of standing up for others when they reach out.
To be consistent with our message, never wavering what is unacceptable.
It's on us to stand up to sexual assault at Lynchburg College. We are one nation, and it's on us.
It's on us. It's on us.
It's on us.
It's on us.
It's on us.
Zaxby's food has always brought people together. Catering to the big moments, the little wins, the long talks, and the quick getaways. Because food this inviting is bound to add a lot of flavor to your life.
Introducing the Zax Pack. Served with chicken fingers, sides, Texas toast, and iced tea. Pick one up for dinner or your next event. Friends, family, flavor. Zaxby's. Indescribably good.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Weekly Sting Live here at Schellenberger Field, brought to you by Zaxby's on 221 in Forest. Thank them so much for everything they've done for us, and will continue to do the rest of the way. Now let's get to that Hornet trivia answer from the question that asked, what is the nickname of each team that are grouped with men's and women's soccer this weekend? There are 6 of these answers, and we begin with the Blue Streaks of John Carroll, then the Lords of Kenyon, Scots of Maryville, the Barron Lions of Penn State Barron, and the Flying Dutchman of the Hope College, a team that women's soccer will be playing tomorrow at 1:30. No one answered the question, so no one gets free Zaxby's for a year. I guess I'll keep it for myself. Now let's go ahead and introduce our last guest of the show, Mr. Steve Koudelka of men's lacrosse. Thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thanks
Coach.
for having me.
Hey, a very, very big day for you and your program today because it is a give day for men's lacrosse specifically. Where do you guys stand right now?
Well, we set a goal over the last couple weeks to get to 175 of our alumni to give back to the program today on November 10th, and we were just before we came on the air, we were at 131. So we've closed a big gap since earlier in the day, and we'll monitor it as long as we can tonight, and hopefully I got a good feeling we'll get to 175 by the end of the night.
Yeah, everybody getting home from work and realizing, okay, I do have that much money in my checking account, so I'll go ahead and
that's
send
what we're
something.
hoping.
What is the goal, or not the goal? I know the numbers wise, but why do this? What is this for?
Well, we started doing it 3 years ago, and really it was a way to give kind of a day for our alumni to give back. And we had 101 the first year, and then last year we set the goal for 125, and we got to about 130. And then this year we kind of made a little bit bigger jump. But we also have tried really a lot in the last couple of months to really get some of the older alums. So the program started in 1980, and so we have a lot of our guys that I've coached since '97 that are very involved. But we're really trying to reach back into the '80s and the early '90s and try to get those guys reconnected back to the pro. A lot of them came to the national championship game.
Right.
A lot of them have reached out, but just trying to get them more involved in the program and really celebrate what's all been accomplished since 1980.
What's the biggest motivational factor for them? Or why should they get involved? Why should they, especially for a coach that didn't coach them?
Yeah, well, I think it's all, this is obviously Lynchburg College, and I think they went to school here. And one of the great things about the lacrosse program and all the athletic programs is this is when you become an alumni, this is one way that you have to stay connected. It's not the only way, but it's one of the ways in which on a day like today, where it's a give day, that they can really kind of help us out a little bit and allow our student athletes currently some of the great experiences that we're trying to give them.
What has the donation led to before? What has it helped you guys with?
We can use it in a lot of different levels. Whether it's travel, whether it's it's spring break, whether it's some of the equipment and gear, things like that we try to help out with the program and help our budget, But we try to, like I said before, it's really about the experiences. We're trying to give those to the best of our ability.
So the biggest question is right now, how can they contact you to make sure this happens?
Well, yeah, we've been crushing the alumni with emails all day. So I don't know how many we've sent by now, but they absolutely know the link that's out there for them, and we just kind of keep it to the alumni, and so hopefully they're watching. We sent this link out to them to kind of get your show some airtime on their behalf, and so hopefully we'll see the dividends later on tonight.
Well, let's talk about how things have gone through the fall ball season with the team that's current, and some changes. Last year we had to think about, okay, we're losing a lot on defense. This past year you lose a good bit on offense. So what is the mindset going into a fall ball season? What are you trying to gain from that to kind of get ready for the spring?
Well, I think we came off a year that was a little odd for us. In a lot of ways we were 12-9, but still were able to play in the ODAC championship game, and I think we missed out on a great opportunity there to win a third one in a row. So I think that's kind of gnawed at everybody a little bit over the summer. And then I think also we've been in the NCAA tournament now several years in a row now, and so we really kind of had to not necessarily reinvent the wheel. The guys from last year and the team from last year, I think, got better as the year went on. But the best thing that we did, we definitely had some holes to fill. We graduated some great players last year, and this year is kind of more of I think going to have to be more of a team approach. We don't maybe necessarily have the superstars that we had last year, and that was an exciting part of fall. Guys totally bought into that. We scrimmaged VMI. I thought we played great in the nights and the scrimmages that we had throughout the fall with our alumni, inter squad, red versus white. And then obviously the night we played at VMI, I thought we played our best in those moments, which kind of spoke to how well we practiced throughout the fall as well.
Right. You talked about the alumni game and having those guys come back and playing the current players. I don't know if a lot of people, or the majority of people, understand why that's a big deal. Why it's more than just going out and having some fun with some guys who used to play here. What's the underlying message there?
Well, we're allowed to play. We're only allowed a certain amount of events throughout the year. So the alumni game is a game that we can play, and so we're able to really attract. We had like over 30 guys dressed up in uniform to play against our guys, and I think we could probably put a starting lineup in there that was all Americans. So. And for those guys to come back, play under the lights, play back on Schellenberger again, it's a competitive atmosphere, and we've lost to the alumni several times. They've come in here and beat us up pretty good a couple times, and but the thing we tell our varsity guys is to show those guys the most respect is really to play our best, and I think we did that, and I thought we played a really good game that night, and it's another competition. It's another night for our guys to compete. It's another night for us to get to evaluate guys. It's another night for us to put film to it. And at the end of it all, we all kind of come together, and there was 50 guys that are watching as alumni, and our guys, got about 50 guys on our team, and so there's 100 guys that represent really Lynchburg College and our lacrosse program. So it's at the end of the day, it is a very special night.
There's some bragging rights in there too, and
sure,
the lights are coming off behind us. That's good. So practice must be over. Last thing I want to kind of get to is just your tenure here, coming into 21st season, I believe. I hope that's okay to say. What keeps you coming back? What keeps you so alive when it comes to staying so involved and going on recruiting trails and then gearing up and doing these things like you are today and learning new technology and all those things that you've been able to do in the last couple months?
Technology is still not my forte, but we're trying. It really boils down to the people you coach. I've been very blessed and fortunate to have some great guys come through this program. Guys that come in as freshmen, and you're able to work with them and really see them mature over those 4 years. Obviously, they give back to the program when they're here, and that's really the driving factor. We're very fortunate right now that the kids that we're recruiting now, the kids who we have in our program, the guys we have in our program, are really no different characteristically to the players that when I first got here and coached, and so they have the same qualities, the same beliefs and everything. They're maybe a little bit better. Obviously, the talent levels has gotten better over the years, but the same common denominators that we would look for in our guys are still there, and that's the neat thing. We have all those alumni came back, like you said. They can interact with each other so easily, and that's something that I've always tried to put a framework on. But to your original question, I mean, this is we think we're doing some great things here at Lynchburg. Not only in athletics, but as a college, the Vision 2020 plan that just got endorsed a couple weeks ago. That's something that's going to take us to a whole nother level. And so that's, I've been here 21 years and I've seen a lot of buildings built. I've seen a lot of things change. And I think over the next 10 years, we're going to see a whole nother, change for all the better. And so that's what kind of brings you back every day.
No doubt about that. I certainly agree with that. And thank you for coming on today and kind of enlightening us a little bit on some things going on. And of course, if you're still on the fence, hopefully after this you're not, send Coach an email and help out.
So I got to ask you a question. I got to cut in here real quick. I don't know if we got time, but you always ask people questions. So
I do.
One shot left in the basketball game. You picking Coach Scott or Coach Smith?
Wow, you put me right on the spot.
Putting you right on there.
Coach Scott.
Okay. Good luck tomorrow in the office.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah,
thanks so much.
Coach Smith that.
Really appreciate that. Thanks so much. Thank you for coming on the show, Coach. I appreciate your time.
Thanks for your efforts.
Really do.
Thanks
Thank you all for watching, making this happen. We'll see you next Thursday at 6 p.m. Probably going to be inside because it's a little too cold to be out. We'll see you next time.